there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, and I was just playing with my colored pencils today on book paper, and I did some stamping and some coloring and kind of, you know, was just experimenting because I kind of wanted to do something like this for a while, and I think I like the way this one came out most because I like the stark white paper. I used just some stencils just to ink around some of these to give them a little bit of a frame, and then I started doodling, and then I was really liking the doodling. Those two birds were stamps, but I just kind of doodled the heart and colored it in. I liked that an awful lot, and then I just decided to freehand a poppy, and then I smooshed a few inks over because I had them over here because I was doing that. So I thought, well, why don't I just kind of share some techniques with you, and wow, it's fun, it's not planned, but yay for fun, not planned artwork, right? Right. I think so, don't you? Alright, so what you need are some colored pencils. They don't have to be fancy, they can be Crayola, they can be whatever. I like Prang for real cheap ones. I like Prismacolors for not so cheap ones. Not crazy expensive, but if you want to invest in some nice colored pencils, I would say go for the Prismacolor. They will not let you down. And what you need is a book. So I'm going to just sketch right in this book. I think I might, you know what, I think I'll tear these out because they're going to get in my way. I might use these for something else. Down the road, I might cut them out, put them on a card. Who knows? I'm just having fun playing with them. Alright, so now we need to find a flower. I think I would like to draw an orchid. Actually, you know what? No, I think I'll do the poppy because I don't have my colors over here to do an orchid, and I'm all the way across the room. So let's do that poppy. You want to do that? You like that? Huh? You like them apples? I'm feeling crazy. Alright, we're going to do that. We're going to draw that. And I'm going to draw it with, I'll draw it with orange. Let's see, maybe I'll zoom in a little bit. You can see that a little bit better. Can you? I hope. Alright, I'm just gonna get the basic shape of my flower here. And the petals. Don't fret if your petals aren't exactly the same as my petals. Remember, you're learning how to use a medium a little differently, or maybe a little bit better, or just something different that you haven't done before. So don't be hard on yourself if your drawing isn't exactly the same as mine. I just went upstairs to have a little lunch, and we are now at a whopping 2.5 degrees in central Maine. Actually more coastal, but man, it has been so cold. That paper's ripped. Oh well. I've already started. I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah, really cold. I'm about to have enough of that. Alright, so I've got that sketched out. I'm gonna grab some green, do stems here. Do that bud. I'll just keep it the same way I did the other one. That way it will be a little bit easier to work with. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Maybe I'll do the stamped one later. If you guys like it, leave a comment. I'll do the other one if you guys want to see that. And then I'm just going to start coloring. And what I'm going to do is take my orange and add color at the bottom of each of these petals. I am probably using medium pressure. I don't want to clog the tooth of this paper. This actually has a decent tooth, this old paper. So it will hold the colored pencil pigment pretty well. But you don't want to color it too firmly, because if you do, then you won't be able to layer on other colors unless you add fixative or something. And I really just want to keep it simple. I don't want you to have to go out and buy a zillion things. I mean, you could raid your kids' art box and use their colored pencils. That's how simple this is. You don't need to, you know, go out and get the most expensive ones you can find for this project. We're working on old book pages, for goodness sake. Now I'm adding this medium yellow into the medium parts, the middle parts of the petals. Pretty simple. So yesterday I had big plans, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, that I was getting ready to clean out the fridge and go grocery shopping. Well, the fridge is spectacular. It's beautiful. You've never seen such a lovely fridge. Freezer too. It's a thing of beauty. So I went out to get my car started after all that, so I wanted to start it up. I didn't want to hop in that cold car on a 5 below degree day, and my car wouldn't start. And then it occurred to me I have not left the house since Sunday, so this hermit was staying home. This hermit had a dead battery. So I was thinking, well, my poor husband, he's so looking forward to having food in the house and a clean refrigerator. And so I didn't run to call him up at work and let him know that I wasn't leaving the house. So I didn't want to put it on my Facebook, because if I put it on my Facebook, the more I got thinking about being home, and I'm adding a little red to the bottom of these petals, the more I thought about kind of staying home and not going to the grocery store, the more it appealed to me. So I didn't want to put this information on Facebook that I had no that my car battery was dead because my neighbors are all too helpful and somebody would have shown up with jumper cables. I didn't want that to happen. That happened last time I complained that my car was dead. My friend Amy showed up at my doorstep with jumper cables. That's the thing about Maine. Every woman knows how to jump a car. So I'm like, well, I'll just email him. And so he called me back and he accused me of staging the whole thing. It's like, you planned this. You checked your car at like 5 in the morning and knew it was out of cat. Knew it was the battery was dead. But he's quite a trooper. He went to the grocery store for me. Brought home groceries to stock the fridge. So that was pretty awesome. And I'm going over this medium color, and now I am going to color firmly because I want to blend my colors together. Look at that! Isn't that cool? Yeah. Yep. So I was very happy. I did make sure I managed to make a pretty decent meal with what we had. So when he came home, there was a hot dinner on the table. I honestly intended to go to the grocery store yesterday, but I wasn't too heartbroken when I didn't have to. Oh, so cold. My poor chickens are freezing. I did manage to save a lot of the stuff in the fridge for the chickens. Some questionable yogurt. I got some Go-Gurts and some cheese sticks and stuff like that, which were a little bit past, but they weren't moldy or anything. So chickens are eating good today. They gotta put on their fat. Put on the fat for these cold days. I feel so bad for them. Running the heat lamp constantly. I'm going over the tips of these petals with the this light lemon yellow. Now let me tell you something here. I drew this in orange so you could see it. However, these are going to show up, these orange petals, they might show up. So if you want to draw it in yellow or something a little bit lighter, so you have the option not to outline it later, you can do that. My chicken's doing all right. They're not really laying too many eggs. I don't know if that's normal or just because they're not leaving their coop because it's so cold or what, but between the 5 chickens, I'm lucky to get 1 egg a day, and if I don't get it right away, it cracks. It just freezes right up. I don't think we've had a winter this cold in a while. Alright, so now we've got the majority of it colored. I'm going to go back in with my red and define. And this is nice because all you need is an old book or something. Book pages will have nice sturdy papers. Magazine pages are a little too glossy. Newspaper and like newsprint type stuff is going to tear. So, you know, if you can just kind of find something that isn't great literature or something from like a book sale or the thrift store or an old paperback you've already read and have no intentions of reading again, those are all great options for this project. I know it does, it causes people distress sometimes when they see me altering a book, but this was actually rescued from the dumpster. My local librarian, when she's got books that have been pulled and that really are kind of in bad shape, she'll call me and see if I want them for my art before she tosses them. So, I mean, like this book was kind of in too bad of a shape to even be in the book sale. All right, so then let's go and color the stems. I'm just using this kind of like appley green color. You know, use whatever you have that's closest. There's nothing wrong with Crayola pencils or Prang pencils. They just might fade a little sooner than the Prismacolor, but use what you have, honestly. It's more important that you take this time for yourself to create. It doesn't matter if you can afford the most expensive. I got my first Prismacolors when I was actually a child. I was 5 and I started taking drawing lessons. I was very fortunate to have an artist that lived nearby, and she said, you know what, get her good pencils. And so my parents did. And some of those pencils I still have. They're short little nubby things, but I still have some of them that I haven't used up yet. And if they're not going to be a waste if you invest in them. It's basically what I'm trying to say. You don't have to have them, but I can as a user of these pencils for 32 years, showing my age there, I can say they are fantastic and worth the money. That said, also shop around, make sure you get a good deal. Alright, so with this darker color, I'm adding shadows and a little bit of definition here. Hope my hand's not in the way. I haven't even looked up at the monitor for a while. Slide that up a little bit. So yeah, Prismacolors, I do like them. I like the Prismacolor wax pencils better than the Derwent. I like the Derwent watercolor pencils better than Prismacolor. So, it seems like every company has that specific supply they do exceptionally well. Alright, and I am coloring this very fast. Okay, so now what I want to do is add some black. Now this is kind of funny because typically I do not use black in my artwork, and oh, there it is. I can't even find it now. But it is going to make the this picture pop. Well, for one thing, you have black text on the page, so you're competing against that. So you need to have something that can kind of hold its own against that. And I'm going to go in and trace my petals, basically, and just define shapes. And I would just try to use an economy of lines. Don't use more than you need. And try to make sure that the shapes you put down there are definite. And you can even, like, redefine. Like, I'm feeling this is actually a little too round, but... so I can kind of alter it a little bit right now if I want to. It looks almost like a rose, a little bit more than a poppy, but you're getting the idea. And if I wanted to sneak a little extra petal in there, I think I just need some shape there that I don't have, and I'll go in and color that again, or color it for the first time because I didn't have anything in there before, just to give it a little bit of frilliness. So colored pencil tips. My big tip would be not to drop them. Treat them with care. I think that's where people get in trouble with their pencils. They're, sharpening them and they break. It's because they've been dropped. And if you get a brand new box of pencils and you're sharpening them and you're noticing that they're breaking, the lead is breaking, take them back or send them back. That is not acceptable. And that means that it has been dropped on the truck, it's been dropped in the store, something has happened to those. They should not be breaking right off the bat. And Prismacolors, they have a very soft lead and they can be more susceptible to the leads breaking. So it's miserable when you get a pencil that you keep sharpening it and the lead keeps coming out. It happens with white more than any other colors. I think it's such a soft color. So you don't want to be dealing with that. If you get a brand new box and you see that they're breaking, you want to have them returned. And if you dropped them, well, I guess you're out of luck. But and if it's just one pencil, you can always replace it. They sell these individually at most arts and crafts stores. Alright, I feel like I need a little more orange in here, so I'm going to go in with the orange. And I like how you can kind of go back and forth and build and layer your colors until you get just what you want. I'm kind of thinking of doing another video and showing you how to do the stamped ones. I don't know if anybody's interested. If you guys want it, just let me know and I will do another one. I'll do one of these guys. Okay, I'll do one of those if you want. That stamps, that's probably discontinued because I think I bought it for $2 at Joann's when it was when they were switching over their stamps, so I don't know if you can find it anymore. But you can always use what you have. Alrighty. And you can keep layering as much as you want until you get exactly the look that you want. And what I love about wax colored pencils, they're slightly translucent. So you can see the words through them, but they also kind of put a haze over them. And it just gives you a really nice effect, I think. This is a great technique to use in your art journal or on a scrapbook page. Well, these book pages probably aren't acid free, but you know what, you could always print something off. That's another thing. If you don't want to cut up a book, you don't have a book, print off. Like, there's so many public domain books online, PDFs of, like, Alice in Wonderland, Wizard of Oz, stuff like that. Print off a couple pages of one of those books and do it like that. That's going to be fine. It's going to be just as good as doing this. And you can actually pick the paper that you print it off onto. You can make sure it's acid free and sturdy. Best of both worlds, I tell ya. Best of both worlds. I have to apologize for my furnace going again. I have my space heater under my table and my furnace on the other end of the basement warming up the rest of the house. Why did I put red over there? Don't do that, people at home. Alright, let's see. I'm going to put some outliner stems. And I like to put a lot of movement. You can have more careful lines if you prefer to have a little less sketchiness in yours. That's personal preference, all up to you, whatever you want to do. Now white will give you a really beautiful highlight and it will also blend your colors a little bit. So I'm going to go in and just put a little white here and there where I feel like it needs a little extra opacity and solidity, like the tips of the petals. Boy, this would be fun. You could I might do this with one of my kids' art classes because I think this would be great just to bring, an old book like this and some colored pencils and let the kids just go to town creating on these book pages. It's also a little bit, illicit when you're writing in a book. I think, who doesn't like that? It's like, ooh, I don't know if I should be doing this. It's awful fun. A little bit naughty. Alright. Oh, yeah. So just kind of outline as you like. Now to do the background, I did a couple different things because I had these inks over here from doing these guys. So, and I felt like it was just a little too stark on there. So what I did was just kind of smashed my ink pad down here and there just to add some texture. Really want to make it as random as you can. Don't try to, let me zoom out a little bit there. Don't try to make it perfect or anything. Just try to avoid your flower. I need to tear that out to get in there any closer, but that's good. And then take your turquoise colored pencil, and I'm calling this this is a technique that you do in painting. It's called scumbling, and you kind of put these very scribbly strokes, and I'm kind of using the edge. I am like going up on the tip. I'm just trying to keep it very random, and I love that you could still see the text through that. This blue is also making the orange flower really pop, and it just gives you a really fun, playful feeling around this. You could also use this to sign your name if you want to. And there you have it. So my colors were a little bit different from flower to flower. Oh, another thing, once you're done, if your piece seems a little faded, take a clean rag or tissue and just buff it. And that will, you get this bloom where the wax kind of settles on the surface, the wax from your pencil, because the wax is the medium in pencils. So once you buff it, it gets a lot brighter because the wax comes out when you polish it off. It actually gets a little shiny too, which may or may not be the look you're going for. I just wanted to warn you on that. But there you have it. It's a fun project. I hope you try it. Colored pencils on old book pages. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.